How often have we tried to poison ourselves so many times over and over again with alcohol or drugs? I don't know. You do the math. Because for me, this alcoholic, it was on such a basis that I couldn't even tell the difference anymore. If you're in the same boat and you're ready to talk, let's get it. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. My background. Well, I was trying to use my TV as a background for you guys, and I kind of messed it up a little bit because there's a deviation between using decks for your phone on the television from hitting play and record and stop and everything else on this video. But we're not going to let that stop us, right? Because we are champions of our own recovery. Therefore, we will strive for progress and not perfection. Where were we? You know, hiding in plain sight. I poisoned myself to the point of not being able to tell the distinction between more ethanol equals more damaged organs and more ethanol equals party all night long. If you understand that, drop your comments below. I am not saying that everything is simple, because as an addict or an alcoholic, you totally understand that it's not A to B or C to D. It is more like A to Z, Z to B, B to G, and on and on and on, because we get kind of lost in our minds. At least that's what I was doing. And when I was doing that, I found myself hiding in plain sight. I was such a professional alcoholic that I was able to mix that with my professional career. And it didn't matter how much I drank the night before, I was going to be able to get through the next day because I knew how to manipulate the system. And if you're in that world, drop me a comment. I manipulated the system so well that nobody even bothered to say, somebody smells like alcohol. Well, once or twice that did happen, but it wasn't me. And I was able to control the clock so much that the 24 hours that I had, I manipulated that time to meet my drinking requirement. Drinking requirement for me was anything from 15 to 18 beers a night. And I'm not talking about them little folks either. I'm talking about 22-ounce Becks or something equivalent. Definitely not adding up the my story is better than your story element, because it was detrimentally the same as anybody else's who's swimming in this ocean with me. Where am I going with this? I had manipulated the clock so well that I was able to get to a point during my drinking time where I was like, got to cut that off and start chugging this energy drink and start masking this and start masking that and start creating a story, because I have to hide all day long. I was in an occupation to where I spoke to professionals and I spoke to people of very high degree of authority on a regular basis. And I actually reported to every single day, because that was my job. That was my job, folks. And I had to play and work within this big dance in order to mask my identity and my double life as an alcoholic. So I hid in plain sight. If there was room inspections, I put myself up on a podium and I said, I'm the platoon sergeant, therefore I will conduct the room inspections. It worked. It wasn't the right answer, folks, because that just elevated my alcoholism to a degree that I almost did not escape. And a lot of people that I come across on social media are all masking their identities as alcoholics or addicts. And the truth of the matter is, it's not our addiction that shall define us. It's not the addiction that should be our whole verbal announcement about who we are, because we're much more. I'm a father, I'm a husband, I am a retired Army NCO, I am a person who gives a lot of care to the people I come in contact with on a day-to-day basis. And in general, I consider myself a good contributor to society. I don't know. What are you? Because if you're hiding in plain sight and nobody is picking up on how good you are controlling your alcoholism or addiction, it is so damaging that it's going to throw you off your game. And it is so damaging at one day, it's going to come to that little head and you're going to crash into the bottom that is not going to be easy to get out of. And at least for me, that's true. And that's where I was hiding. And, you know, I used to do my job to the effect that nobody could touch me. And I've talked about this in a few videos. Nobody could touch what I was doing. I could drink all night from the time I got off till the time I had to be back. And I could function in my occupation. Nobody would know the damn difference. Except for one or two folks who picked up on it. And that's a whole topic for a later story. But you can see that card above if you want to. People are strange. You know, people are strange about what they choose to care about and what they choose to ignore. That's really where I'm going with this, because that makes it easy for an alcoholic like me to hide in plain sight. Because if I'm doing my damn job well, no one's going to ask any questions. If I'm taking care of what I got to take care of, nobody's going to know the better. And you might know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you do, hit a like, share this with somebody you know who might be suffering from addiction or alcoholism and could use a little bit of hope. You know, I hid in plain sight for over 2 decades. And I thought that I was doing a damn good job. But folks, I'm telling you, everybody knew I was damaged except for me. And everybody that I came in contact with had an inclination that there was something going on, but they just couldn't put their finger on it. I wish somebody had early on, because it's a lot of work to hide in plain sight. It is a lot of work to be an addict or an alcoholic and still function. Because we, and I'll speak for myself, I had to work twice as hard at being an alcoholic than I did at work. And that is like so bizarre and so demanding that I had zero energy left after 24 hours, man. Zero. And you know, you might understand that. And what I found is that when I started to recover and I started to get my faculties back and everything else, I am not exhausted at the end of a day, regardless of how much work I do in it. I am not burned out. I am able to be focused on what it is I'm doing and still have enough time for me. Because I didn't take time for myself and I didn't care about myself. So hiding in plain sight was pretty easy to identify for someone looking from the outside in. I thought I had the game planned and I thought I had it on lock, and all these other words that I picked up from my son, and I didn't. It's freaking hard work. It's hard work to be a drunk or an alcoholic, and it's hard work equally to live a life without it. But it's not demanding to the point where I'm exhausted from it, because shit, who would get sober if it was nothing but a job? It is awareness, folks, and it is being able to identify with yourself in a whole different way than when you were active alcoholic or drinking or using. And the same is true for addicts. I know quite a few addicts, and I know addicts in recovery. And those addicts their focus is beyond reproach, because, I mean, their brains are so in tune. And this is just what I know of the ones that I know. Their brains are so in tune and they're able to pick up on things like super fast, and they're able to identify with people in a way that I wish I could, but I can't. And yeah, I'm trying, but you know, either way, this video is rambling on. I lost my point and I'm not sure I'm gonna send it out. Have a good day.